Thank you so much. And thank you so much to all of you for being here. I have to tell you that 2 years and a few months ago, when we started to express our public concerns about the digital COVID certificate and the fact that our rights as individuals, as well as MEPs, were severely violated, we did not expect that our message is going to travel all across the world multiple times. Because when we had the first press conference, a few hours later after we placed the conference online, we received hundreds, if not thousands, of emails every day from people, from elected officials, from non-governmental organizations, from judges, from prosecutors, from journalists, all of them telling us that they shared the same concerns as us, but they did not realize that there are some public voices from a high-level authority, I would say, to express or to share the same concerns as them. When we started that press conference and then all the activities that we've done together afterwards, we realized that actually people all across the world are hungry, are thirsty for freedom. They want their own officials to be accountable and to respond in front of the public. So the alternative that was presented to us with this pandemic, this was the best opportunity for some elites that are not elected by anybody, who are not accountable to anybody, to pretty much hijack, day by day, month by month, year by year, more and more of our rights, more and more of our assets, because we see that happening right now in many countries. You saw what happened in Canada, for example, when the truckers protested against Trudeau. He ordered that their bank accounts be blocked, and that happened. And at that point, we did not even have, they did not even have in Canada, the digital currency. Imagine what will happen when on your phone you will have the digital wallet, the digital currency, the digital vaccination certificate. So we saw what happened. And now just imagining your worst case scenario, what will happen if we allow the WHO to have so much power over our states, over our governments, our elected officials, and even over our judiciary. Because over the years, over the centuries, I would say, when the modern state was developed, we had the so-called separation of power in the state. You had what we have, the executive power, legislative power, and the judicial power. And the reason why the power was split among three different powers in the state was that the individual rights of every person be protected, be safeguarded. So in case the executive power or the legislative power is abusing your rights, you can go in front of the judicial power or the constitutional court to challenge a law or to challenge an administrative decision. Now imagine what would happen if all of this decisional power would be passed over to WHO. Can they stay in court? Can the head of WHO justify his decision, for example, to proclaim a pandemic across the world in front of a judge? Because they can't right now. So the biggest threat that we are facing right now is a threat to our national sovereignty, to the supremacy of our constitutions, and implicitly, unfortunately, to our fundamental rights. Because if all of these powers that were granted through our constitutions to our national institutions or authorities will be handed over to a global institution that is not accountable to anybody, who is led by people who are not elected by us as citizens, then we are done with our rights. Because they can easily just pass a decision, or whatever you want to call it, to declare a pandemic. Once that is declared, the governments can impose draconian, restrictive measures, and you will not be able to challenge that. In Romania, for example, the country that I proudly represent here, During the pandemic, there was not an official document, an official act released, submitted by any Romanian governmental agencies to declare in Romania a pandemic. So there were people challenging the pandemic in court. And the government came and said, well, there's a press release from WHO, and based on that press release that says, well, as of tomorrow there's going to be a pandemic, we behaved in a certain way. So imagine, a press release played the role of implementing or calling something a pandemic. And we did not even have the treaty that they are talking about. So I'm glad that all of you are here today. I'm looking forward to sharing with all of us and with all the Europeans your insights. And I'm looking forward to working with you, not only to support all the initiatives that you have, but also to make people of Europe aware that in 2024, in the month of June, for the European parliamentarian elections, they have a very clear option and choice to make. Freedom or tyranny. Democracy or lack of democracy. Transparency or lack of transparency. And as I said at the beginning of our press conferences, the difference between democracy and tyranny is very simple. When you know everything about your government, that is democracy. When the government knows everything about you, that is tyranny. So let's fight together to maintain democracy in Europe. Thank you.